Give it up right now for Casey Rocket, everybody.
Weather on the sky, weather on the ground. Don't call me a clown. My stepdad was a clown because he was psychologically abusive. Come on, what it is, big boy? Let me under. I'll go later. Happy weather today, everybody. Up first, some glaring weather questions that all of you are thinking. Number 1, de donde es la penguino? Number 2, what? Number 2, why no bug have to wear a very small COVID mask? Bugs smell like shit. Number 3, if you give a goose a gun, is it gonna want some revenge to go with it? Number 4, that's it, just 3. All right, I'm gonna stop at 3. Folks, up first, Mud Watch. As many of you know, I have my ear to the ground when it comes to all things stinky, slutty mud. And recently, these fucking bitch-ass teenagers in my neighborhood filled up my Hyundai Sonata full of stinky mud. Which you would think would be the ultimate prank. Little do they know, I fucking eat mud, dumbass. So now I have all these great nutrients completely free of charge. As many of you know, mud is full of whole grain and nutrient. That is the mud impact zone. That's where some of the biggest mud can be found, and as you go southwest, mud's not so good, but... and then Lake Charles got a bit of mud. Folks, I want to settle down and think. Folks, a lot of you have been asking, what happens when my son asks me about weather? And I wanted to go through just a quick breakdown of how I handle all my son's weather questions. So he'll play the son. I'll play the daddy. I was tempted to reverse the roles, but this makes the most sense. Alright, so he go, Daddy! And that's how he talks? Okay, we'll lower his voice a little bit. He goes, Daddy, what is cloud? That's how he talks. I don't want him to sound like that, but that's what he sounds like. Daddy, what is cloud, and why don't goose have to pay income tax? Okay, so if your son asks you some dumb shit like that, here's what you do. So you go, what is cloud? Why don't goose have to pay income tax? You just look at him. Now notice what happens next. If you don't get in your fucking room right fucking now and start working on your social studies homework, I'm gonna have a panic attack. And if Daddy has a panic attack, I'm gonna have to take a Xanax. And if Daddy has to take a Xanax, I'm gonna need some whiskey to wash it down. And if Daddy gets into the whiskey this early in the day, I'm gonna have to call my friend JJ Shitveins to get an 8-ball. And if Daddy starts doing cocaine at 6 p.m., Mommy will take this evidence to the courts and you won't be able to see Daddy anymore. Will you, you fucking moron? So, notice how he just shut the hell up. The key to any docile... my kid loves Cracker Barrel. The key to... It's very true to form. As many of you know, my son died several years ago of sickle cell anemia, and I had him... you can make it funny, you can do it, Casey. Definitely didn't just dig a hole there. I had my son taxidermied, so he listens. This little metal boy, he was inside this little shitty, scary metal boy, and when you do walk, he can tell if you're pure of heart and his eyes will follow you. So pretty interesting. Also a good technique if he goes, Dad, I'm choking on mud. Just go, pop it right on the top. Mud is stored right at the base of the brainstem, so that should shake it loose. Up next, Is Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs a glaring example of pro-Putin propaganda?